Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. What we're about to talk about isn't just about heartbreak, it's about transformation. It's about shifting your understanding of self, love from something soft and fleeting to something powerful, grounded, and life changing. Because real self love isn't just a feeling, it's a standard, a decision, and a daily practice. Whether you're coming out of a breakup, struggling with your worth, or simply tired of settling for less, this message is for you. This isn't about getting someone back, it's about getting yourself back. And once you do, everything around you starts to change. When people hear the words self-love, they often think of bubble baths, affirmations, or taking time to rest. And don't get me wrong, those things have their place. But real self-love, it's not always soft. In fact, sometimes it's incredibly uncomfortable. Because the real power of self-love isn't found in how you treat yourself when everything is easy. It's how you treat yourself when everything hurts. Especially after a breakup, especially when you feel at your lowest. See, it's easy to love yourself when someone else is loving you too. When you're being validated, appreciated, chosen. But what about when they stop? What about when someone walks away, or when you're left wondering why it didn't work out, questioning your worth, doubting if you were ever enough? That's when real self-love kicks in, not as a feeling, but as a choice. You choose not to chase someone who's already made it clear they're not willing to stay. You choose not to rewrite your worth based on someone else's inability to see it. You choose to walk away from the comfort of the familiar, even if it hurts like hell, because deep down there's a part of you that knows you deserve better, even if the rest of you hasn't caught up. Yet that's the kind of self-love I'm talking about. The kind that shows up in the moments when you're most tempted to betray yourself just to feel less alone. The kind that whispers, "Don't go back," even when your heart is begging you to. It's in the decision to block the number, even when you want to keep it saved. It's in choosing not to send the text, not to check their profile, not to reopen the wound, because self-love isn't always about what feels good. It's about what moves you forward. Think about it this way. Every time you choose yourself over temporary relief, you're making a statement about what kind of life you're building. Every time you say, "I deserve more," even if you don't fully believe it yet, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your future. And I'll be honest with you, it's going to feel lonely sometimes. You're going to miss them. You're going to doubt yourself. But you're also going to feel something else too. Pride, strength, the quiet certainty that you didn't abandon yourself just to keep someone else around. Because the greatest act of self-love isn't how you treat yourself when you're in the mood to love yourself. It's how you treat yourself when you're not. That's the version of you the world needs more of, the one who knows their value even when no one else is reminding them. That's the moment everything begins to change. One of the biggest lies we buy into is that our value is somehow determined by whether someone chooses us or not. That if they stay, it means we're worthy. And if they leave, it must mean something's wrong with us. But that's not how it works. People don't always walk away because you weren't enough. Sometimes they walk away because they weren't capable of receiving what you had to give. And that has nothing to do with your worth. It's easy to attach your identity to someone else's presence in your life. We do it without even realizing. You meet someone, things go well, and before long, you start to see yourself through their eyes. You feel good when they're loving you, and you start to doubt yourself the second they pull away. But here's the problem with that. When your self-worth is dependent on someone else's opinion, it becomes incredibly fragile. It fluctuates with every text they do or don't send, every compliment, every moment of silence. The truth is, someone leaving doesn't diminish your value. Just like someone choosing you doesn't increase it. Your worth isn't a variable. It's not something that moves up and down based on what someone else sees in you or fails to see. Your worth is constant. The problem is, we forget that when we're hurting. We look for answers in their behavior, trying to decode what went wrong, what we could have done differently, what we need to fix. And in that process, we internalize the rejection. We start believing that if we had been more, they would have stayed. But that's not how love works, and it's not how people work. People leave for all kinds of reasons: timing, fear, emotional unavailability, their own baggage, their own patterns. You can be the most incredible, loving, grounded version of yourself, and someone can still walk away. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means they weren't meant to go any further with you on this journey. So instead of asking, "Why wasn't I enough for them?" ask a different question: "Why did I believe they were the only measure of my value?" That's where the real shift begins. Because once you stop tying your worth to who stays and who leaves, you take back your power. You stop chasing people for validation. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for you. You start walking differently. You start showing up for yourself in ways you used to wait for others to do. And the next time someone comes into your life, you won't be needing them to prove anything about you. You'll already know who you are. That's what makes you unshakable. That's when love becomes a choice, not a lifeline, because no one gets to define your value but you. We often talk about boundaries like they're something you set once and forget, like a rule you put on a wall and hope people follow. But boundaries are so much more than that. They're not walls to keep people out, they're doors that show people how to come in. They're the framework for how you protect your peace, your energy, your self-worth. And here's the thing, the most powerful form of self-respect you can ever show isn't in what you say, it's in the boundaries you uphold. It's easy to talk about self-love, it's easy to say, "I deserve better," but the truth is revealed in what you allow. When someone crosses a line and you let it slide, when someone disrespects you and you excuse it, when you silence your needs to keep the peace, in those moments you're teaching people what you're willing to tolerate. And over time, what you tolerate becomes your standard, not because you wanted it, but because you allowed it to stay. Setting boundaries isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being clear about what you expect, what you accept, and what you'll walk away from. And yes, that clarity can scare people. Some will push back, some will test you, but the right people won't see your boundaries as a threat. They'll see them as a sign of maturity. They'll respect them because they'll respect you. And if someone leaves because you enforced a boundary, let them. That just means your standard was higher than their effort. Boundaries are hard. Let's not pretend otherwise. Sometimes they feel like punishment when you're used to overextending yourself. When you're used to being the one who bends, the one who gives the benefit of the doubt, the one who wants to believe the best in people. But boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about keeping you aligned. They're about staying in integrity with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. And let's be honest, one of the hardest places to set a boundary is with someone you care about, someone you have history with, someone you want to make it work with. But love without boundaries isn't really love, it's dependency. It's fear. Real love includes respect, and respect begins with the way you treat yourself. So when you say, "This is what I need," and someone dismisses it, don't dismiss yourself just to make them feel comfortable. When you say, "This crossed a line," and they act like you're overreacting, don't shrink your truth to fit into their version of reality. Your job isn't to convince people to respect you. It's to respect yourself enough to walk away when they don't. Because boundaries aren't about keeping people in your life. They are about keeping you in alignment with who you are. There's this idea a lot of people hold onto after a breakup. I just need time. And sure, time has its place. Time gives you space. It gives you distance. But on its own, time doesn't heal you do. Healing is not passive. You can sit with a broken heart for 6 months or 6 years, and if you're not doing something with that time, if you're not actively working through the pain, it just turns into waiting. And waiting doesn't build anything. Healing is a process, not a pause. It's about showing up for yourself day after day when there's no one cheering you on. It's about choosing habits that actually serve you, not just distract you. It's incredibly tempting to numb the pain, to avoid it, to bury yourself in work or throw yourself into something new just to feel alive again. But what you avoid doesn't go away, it waits, and it shows up in the next relationship, in the same patterns, in the same wounds, just dressed differently. You heal when you start asking yourself the real questions. Not, "Why did they do this to me?" but "Why did I stay as long as I did?" Not, "What could I have done to make them love me more?" but "What stopped me from loving myself enough to walk away sooner?" Those are the uncomfortable questions, but they're the ones that actually move you forward. Healing means doing the things that feel pointless in the moment, writing in a journal when your thoughts feel too heavy, going to the gym when your body feels like it's made of stone, talking to a friend when every part of you just wants to isolate. It's in those tiny, quiet acts of resistance against the part of you that wants to stay stuck. And it's not linear. Some days you'll feel strong and clear, like you've finally turned a corner, and then something small, a song, a memory, their name popping up, can hit you like a wave. That doesn't mean you're back at square one. That means you're human. That means you're healing, because healing doesn't look like perfection. It looks like progress. It looks like not texting them, even when you want to. It looks like not needing closure from someone who was never capable of giving it. It looks like making choices for your future, even while you're still grieving your past. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin. You just have to stop waiting for the pain to magically go away and start moving with it. Carry it, work through it, let it shape you, but not define you. Because healing isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create . And the moment you realize that is the moment you start to get your power back. One of the most painful traps people fall into after a breakup is waiting for closure. That lingering hope that the other person will suddenly wake up, give you an explanation that makes it all make sense, and tie everything up in a neat emotional bow so you can finally move on. But the hard truth is, if someone didn't offer clarity when they were in your life, they're not likely to give it after they've left. And even if they did, it probably wouldn't give you the peace you think it will. Closure doesn't come from their apology, their explanation, or their regret. It comes from your decision to stop needing those things. It comes when you realize that clarity doesn't have to come from them. It can come from you choosing to end the story on your own terms. Because every time you go back to the question, "Why did they do this?" you give them power over your healing. Every time you reread the messages, replay the last conversation, or fantasize about what you would say if you saw them again. You're handing your future to someone who's already chosen not to be part of it. It's a form of self-abandonment, really delaying your healing, putting your growth on pause because you're still waiting for someone else's words to make it okay. But most of the time, what we call a need for closure is really a need for reassurance. We want them to say, "You mattered," or "I did love you," or "It wasn't your fault." But if you already know those things deep down, and you do asterisk, why are you waiting for them to confirm it? Sometimes people leave without explanation because they don't know how to be honest. Sometimes they disappear because they can't face what they've done. And sometimes they ghost you because it's easier than accountability. None of that has anything to do with your value. But the longer you chase an answer from someone who couldn't even communicate properly when you were together, the more you delay your peace. You get to decide that the relationship ended the moment they stopped showing up. You get to choose that the final message was silence, and that silence was enough. Because closure isn't something they give you. It's something you claim when you stop looking backward and start choosing forward. It's in the moment you delete the thread, not because you don't care anymore, but because you finally care about yourself more. It's when you stop asking questions that only lead to more pain and start creating answers rooted in your own strength and clarity. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't love them. It just means you love yourself enough to stop holding on to someone who already let go. One of the most important truths you'll ever learn is that people take their cues from you. How you treat yourself sets the tone for how others believe they can treat you. And that's not just a theory, it plays out in your relationships, your friendships, your work, everywhere. The way you speak about yourself, the way you carry yourself, the things you allow, the standards you uphold, those things aren't invisible. They're signals, and people respond to those signals, whether you realize it or not. When you tolerate disrespect, even in small ways, it tells people that it's acceptable. When you constantly put your needs last, when you apologize for having boundaries, when you stay silent just to keep the peace, you're not just being nice or understanding. You're teaching people that your needs are negotiable. But here's the problem. If you don't show people where the line is, you can't be surprised when they cross it. Self-love isn't just how you feel about yourself on the inside. It's how you behave. It's your actions. It's what you demand from the people around you, not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you've worked too hard to keep shrinking for people who can't meet you where you are. It's in the way you speak up when something doesn't sit right. It's in the way you walk away from situations that drain your energy. It's in the way you refuse to make yourself smaller just to fit into someone else's version of what's acceptable. And here's the beautiful part: when you start treating yourself with the love and respect you want from others, the wrong people begin to fall away. They don't stick around, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your new standard won't allow them to stay comfortable. And that's not a loss, that's alignment. That's you becoming the kind of person who doesn't just talk about their worth, but lives it. Think about it. How can someone else value you more than you value yourself? How can someone respect you more than you respect yourself? It starts with you, and when that shift happens, everything changes. The way you show up, the way you speak, the way you allow love into your life. Because now, love has to rise to your level. It can't live in the space where disrespect used to. It can't survive where you once allowed confusion, mixed signals, or half effort. You're no longer a magnet for people who want to take. You become a mirror, reflecting back only what you give to yourself. That's when you stop begging for attention and start commanding respect, not through force, but through your presence. Through your energy, through your unwavering belief in what you deserve, because at the end of the day, the world only treats you as well as you treat yourself.